Hi everyone, it's Lisa here and welcome to another Tattered Pages sketch challenge. So here we're going to see the sketch for today, and very kind of you can see there's a 4x6 and possibly a 3x3 or a 4x4 photo, and then lots of embellishments underneath the photo, and then a title up the top. So I'm starting off with a white piece of cardstock, and I'm applying a thin layer of gesso over top, and I had a little bit extra, so I'm just putting it in my art journal. And I just used a gift card, an extra gift card that was old, and I just used that to spread the gesso around. If you've never used gesso before, it just kind of gives a tooth to your paper, so that you can get a little bit more mixed media and artsy in your layouts without it being oversaturating the paper. So I have two pictures, 4x6, and then I cut the one photo down to a 3x3. And here I've got my watercolors out, and I'm going to show you something in a minute why it was awesome that I used gesso. So I had a whole bunch of these flowered chipboard and vellum pieces, so I'm just going to pull them all out because I know I'm going to try and use as many of them as I can. And this is using the Maggie Holmes, this is the style board, vellum, and chipboard pieces. So I'm just pulling out butterflies, flowers, anything kind of florally. There's a doily in there even, so I'm just going to put them off to the side. And here's where I'm going to start playing with some watercolors. So I'm just going to play with some pinks and some kind of coral colors and some yellows. And I'm going to make a hot mess to start off with. So it looks good until it gets to a point and then I don't like it. So here you're going to see me kind of playing, and I'm going to put my pictures over top, and I don't like that color. Now here is where the magic of gesso happens, is I did not like the way that was turning out, so I took a baby wipe and I wiped over the whole thing and started over. So that's the beauty of gesso, is there's no way I would be able to do that if I did not gesso my page. So here I'm just going to take some splotches of some colors. I'm still using some yellows and reds. It's kind of like a corally red, and some yellow, and I think I said yellow, but yellow and orange and corally red. And then I'm just going to use that to kind of pounce the colors all over the page. And I'm using quite a bit of water because I really want it to kind of flow into each other. So you can just kind of see that I'm just kind of daubing around the edges. And then I'm just going to dry this with my heat gun. And the paint was moving, so I just went with it. So here you can see what it finally looks like to dry. And I just keep turning the page around until I like it. And I'm going to end up flipping it this way. And the one thing is it really curled up the paper quite a bit. So I just took an extra scrap piece of cardstock from my stash and just used that to kind of get the paper to sit down a little flatter. So here you can just kind of see me layering up these pieces. And I'm just trying to see how I want it all to turn out. So just kind of getting an idea in my head to see if this is how I like it. So just kind of fussing, and then I decide, yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it. Those pictures kind of felt like they needed a little bit of grounding on them, so I'm gonna take some pattern paper, and I'm just gonna use that as a photo mat. So I've got some Amy Tan +1, and I'm just gonna give a very, very thin yellow outline to that one piece of paper. And then this is some old paper by the shoreline, and again just going to give it a really thin border just so that they can so they don't blend into each other. So here is some of that gold vellum from the flea market Maggie Holmes edition, and I'm just trimming around the paper, and I'm just going to put that underneath as a layer. And again, these are supplies using my own April scrapbooking kit. So if you haven't seen that video, you might want to check it out just to see all the supplies that I used or pulled. I'm using some Craft and Gold washi tape. This is again from Maggie Holmes. I have some scrap paper that's still from the kit that I had pulled. There's just some scraps left, so I just thought, you know what, I'll just go for it. So there's this blue aqua dot, which is from Maggie Holmes, and then that pink strip is actually a border strip from the American Crafts XOXO edition, or paper. So some older lines mixed in with some newer lines. So here I'm just going to take some of these vellum pieces and I'm just going to go to town and just layer them underneath this photo, and I'm not too concerned about where they go. I'm just looking for filling up space. And the chipboard pieces that come from Maggie Holmes, they actually are sticky backed on the back side. You just have to pull that white little piece off and away you go, which I did not know that at the previous layout that I made, but that's okay. They're stuck down now. So here I'm just sticking all these pieces down, and I'm layering chipboard on chipboard just so I can get a little bit extra dimension. And I'm going to layer some vellum pieces over top of chipboard pieces so you have the see-through effect to see the chipboard pieces underneath. And again, just layering and layering and layering. So just kind of finding places to stick the pieces, and away you go. Not really too much thought goes into my embellishing. It's like if it just feels like there's a hole there, I'll just try and find a piece that will fill the hole. So again, just going through, finding stuff. And there is a right side and a wrong side to the vellum pieces, so just make sure you flip them over to see if you're sticking down the right side or the wrong side. And just going to trim off the extra overhang pieces, and I'm going to kind of stick everything back into the little bin, and then I'm just going to flip through the bin to see if there's anything else that I need. You'll see that in a minute. Here I'm just pulling out some alphas and some flare from the kit that I'm going to try and use up. And there's this little bicycle, which is really cute. So that's from the Dear Lizzie Daydreamer line. And I've got these stickers out, and I've got this little feather. And then there is this piece that really matches the watercoloring that I did. And it says an everyday kind of adventure. And I'm going to actually end up sticking it on top of that yellow flower. It just matches that watercoloring almost too perfectly, so I have to use it. So I'm just going to stick that down. And now I'm just trying to think about what I need to kind of do to this layout to kind of bridge it all together. So here you're going to see me go through. These are all the pieces that I have for the vellum and the chipboard. I just have them in this little tray here, and then that way I can just flip through and find something that I want to use. So there's this little chipboard piece that's got this little record on it, and it says it's a lovely kind of day, or it's a lovely day, I should say. So I wanted to use that, and it's circle shaped, and there's a lot of circles going on in this layout. So I just wanted to use that, and I'm just going to glue some pieces underneath just to kind of make it look like it's not so circular over there. And then that little banner piece says the best. So I want to use that, and you can see I'm just kind of layering the pieces together here. I'm going to use a pop dot to stick everything down. And I didn't want to cover up that pink too much, so I just pulled it back up and just stuck it down again. And again, I'm just trying to fill that whole gap in along the bottom side of the photo. Just kind of make it bridge the embellishments to bridge that whole piece there. that was my thought. Especially when you look at the sketch, those little circles will signify for embellishments. So I've got them underneath the photo in the sketch, but you can more than certainly put them over top. So make sure you kind of look at the sketch a little bit closely and see if you can adapt it to how you like it. And when I layer my sketches or pages, I like to do under and over, just kind of create that dramatic effect. So here I have a chipboard heart, and it was actually a button heart. So I got some cotton twine and I just went through the whole heart and stuck it down. Here's where I'm going to be fussing a little bit for letters, and I'm going to fast forward a little bit. I ran out of Y's, so I'm using an H upside down to use for a Y, and then I'm using a U and cutting a bit off to make an R. So I'm getting to the end of these letters, but I'm determined to try and use them up as much as I possibly can. So I'm just going to glue everything down with this Tombow Mono Multi. Or not the Mono Multi. I'm using this tape runner, and if you've never used one of these before, they are the bomb. You can use them to roll on, or you can use them to stamp, and you'll get some of these little dots, and they stick to wood veneers amazingly. So here I'm just making my own little sketch lines so that I could do some journaling on. And my journaling is pretty much going to say that these were my favorite trees the whole time I was in Tennessee. I could just look at them all day long. They're just so pretty. And I wish that I could plant them in Canada. That's pretty much what my journaling says. So just finishing off the journaling. And here you're going to see some close-ups. So make sure you check out the sketch challenge over at the blog. I will leave a link below. And I hope everybody has a great day. Talk to you soon. Oh, and happy Easter. Bye.